And Dick Matthews, great to have you back, Dick. You're reacting at all to the people can't eat indicator, PCE?
Yeah, what a great mnemonic. What a translation of a great mnemonic. I don't know. I guess it was at the bottom end of people's expectations, wasn't it? Um,
It's kind of a flat number.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's sort of been a bit like this week. There's nothing got me really excited this week. I think the markets are just like pretty boring, aren't they?
The currency markets were somewhat, they've been boring for a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
equity.
I'm, I think we might have a couple of events here. Here's the Dixie on the verge of breaking down here. This uptrend's been intact all year, lower high, not much of a recovery off a major trend line. So to me, the dollar looks vulnerable. Can, Canada is on the verge of this is Blake's triangle, but you have a flat line at 36. That would look ugly under 136. So it looks like a weaker dollar regimen settling in.
I think the Dixie's got some good support just below here. Is it 104.35, something like that? I think there's some support.
Yeah, that's the trend line right there.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's also the 200-day moving average. So we're right there on the precipice. You think it's going to hold?
Mm, yeah, it's a real tricky one, isn't it? Month end,
Mm-hmm.
who knows where the flows are. Um, I don't think it's going to hold for choice. But I would want to push through that. I think now. I think that it was a weaker or as we just said, a somewhat weaker than expected PCE. Bond yields, I think, will come off now. People get excited
Yeah,
about the Fed cut. So I
yeah.
think that's been holding the dollar up. So I would want to go be a little bit short of the dollar at the moment.
Okay. Reason for euro strength. Wondering what you think of this. You trade euro pound, Dick?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so this is kind of a classic example of a stop hunt.
yeah,
Taking out major support, even taking out these guys,
yeah,
and a pretty nice turn.
yeah.
This could this be an important turn?
I think it's really
Uh,
interesting the euro actually. Um, you're going to get a cut next week. End of story. They go
okay,
to 25. But I don't think it's going to be the start of a series of cuts. I think that might be just one cut, then they're going to wait and see. So I think you're going to get, if you can say this, a hawkish cut. I think
yeah,
Lagarde will come out, in
okay,
a new shade of suntan and
okay,
start being a little bit hawkish. Those inflation numbers aren't brilliant out of Europe.
okay, and we'll get a dovish hike in the U.S. Who's
Uh,
gonna?
I love a hike. I've been calling for a hike in the US for months now.
Yeah. So, okay, so you come into month's end. You've traded for many years, and uh, what do you really believe in the fact of it's okay not to do anything into month end and
Yeah,
just let the dust settle and take a
yeah.
look at things next week?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't like trading month ends full stop unless you can see
Okay.
an obvious blow or an obvious, trade to jump on. But most importantly, I think one of your guys said earlier, it's Friday. Don't give it all back on a Friday.
Yeah. Don't try
Just
and make your week on a
yeah,
Friday.
yeah, just
Yeah.
sit on your hands on the Friday. You've got plenty more trading days ahead next week. Next week looks an interesting week. I just sit on my hands like that. Bad week, I go, hey ho, you know, better luck next week. If I've had a good week, I'd count my profits and put them away. So I'd be sitting
Yeah.
on my hands today. Probably not what people want to hear, but why be a hero? Why give it all back on a Friday?
What do you think about this huge move in commodities, Dick? Does it remind you of a past era at all?
Yeah, I'm really um I'm fascinated by commodities. Now I understand I'm not a soft commodity trader. I've always kept an eye on them. I've always been fascinated by them, and I think they have drivers, which I basically I don't understand. I think that, and I was saying to Blake a few weeks back that I wish I had more expertise in soft commodities. I think this year or the coming years actually are going to be really, really interesting with climate change.
All right.
What's causing climate change? I don't know, and I'm not going to pontificate on, but it's definitely changing. We're getting warmer winters. There's more rain. I mean, I'm seeing in the States some outrageous weather patterns you've had, and I think,
It's going to, yeah, Texas is on fire.
yeah, uh, I was down in Spain last week. They've had a drought all through the winter there. They've got forest fires already, which is really, really early for that to happen. So I think you're going to get more volatility in commodities affected by weather, which I suspect probably makes you want to trade from the long side, because I can't think of many weather events that are going to actually really increase commodities.
Okay.
And then
Well,
could
maybe
you?
I could share one that you'll want to start keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
And the grain complex was really out of favor. Okay, we peaked on the invasion of the Russian invasion in Ukraine over 2 years ago, right? So
Yeah.
here's a weekly. So wheat actually got up to $13 up here,
Yeah.
and to me, this triggered longs, and now we're right up against the week 200 week moving average.
Hmm.
You got to buy pullbacks in wheat. I think
Yeah.
that even if we have a bear market rally, Dick, I mean, from 13 to 5 is 8. You
Yeah.
know, why can't we go rally $5
Yeah.
to $9, $10, and that's still a huge trade.
Interestingly, do you think that's going to be driven by weather or by geopolitics?
By I think weather and bear market in the dollar will also be supportive because it'll make U.S. exports more attractive.
Right.
And China's been going away from us to Brazil, Argentina,
Yeah.
because of the trade war. Uh, if they can get it cheaper in the U.S. than they could get it in South America, they'll forget about the trade war while they accumulate grain. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the other two, beans. I mean, you remember a long time ago in the U.S., guys at the Board of Trade were their big war chant was beans in the teens. Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, we could do that again. Really, it this could have been just a long-term correction, like wheat, and
Yeah.
be heading up again. And here's corn. Actually has a decent little bottoming pattern. It could pull back again, but yeah, the grains. I know guys that like coffee now and cotton
Cocoa.
and well, cocoa was the beginning
The start of it,
of the
wasn't it, in a way?
yeah, everything they eat for breakfast, right? Wheat, corn, uh,
Cocoa.
bacon. If you have steak and eggs,
Yeah.
orange juice. Breakfast has gotten expensive.
Do you, out of interest, do you ever look at the red months in softs?
Only the red months?
No, yeah. Do you ever look at them and just see
Uh,
how they're reacting?
no,
Well,
I've never heard that before, Dick. And I'm an old commodity guy, only looking at the red months. And which ones are the red months?
I would be looking at. I'm trying to remember now. Red
March.
Red June would be June 2025.
Okay, so they're a
Looking a
year
year
out.
forward.
They're a year out.
Yeah.
That's what makes them reds.
Yeah.
Okay. No, and cut my teeth in Chicago. You would think I would know that, or you know what, Dick? I'm old enough to have forgotten it.
I think I hate to be rude, because I had to think what the red months, how far out the red months were. It's the second year on the commodity run, and
All
then
right.
blue, red, green months were the third year out. And I'm just interested to see whether I'm starting to think, well, maybe those are worth looking at, because there's going to be more volatility out there, because you're going to get less certainty over the weather. If this is a weather play,
Right.
I do wonder whether wheat, just coming back, whether wheat is where there is some geopolitical plays in there. I'm not. being a European, Ukraine is much closer to me than it is to you, and I'm not
I've
sure.
had that thought because things are escalating there, right, Dick?
I think so. Yeah, I
And
really do.
they were able to get their most of their wheat out, whether Russia was going to allow them to or not over the
Yeah,
past couple of years.
yeah,
But if the war expands, that may be more of a problem to get
yeah,
there, right?
yeah. I mean,
So
I'm not
yeah,
going to get into the rights and wrongs of
yeah,
allowing American weapons to be used against Russia. I mean, that's way beyond my comfort zone. But I do think that that will increase volatility because I can't see that Putin's going to just sit there. Oh yeah, come on, just use
yeah,
whatever you like to attack me. So I'm keeping. I'm really interested to watch wheat and also um, gold. I think you could carry on seeing some volatility there. I don't know if you guys saw over there overnight that the Brits and America attacked the Houthis, however you pronounce it.
yeah, yeah,
And then they've started attacking back, and they've aimed some drones at a US warship, which is not a particularly subtle thing to do. And they also attacked a US owned leisure vessel going through the Red Sea, or tried to attack it with multiple drones. And I think that certainly over here, that's being unreported by the
okay,
main and also by financial press. And I just wonder whether that's escalating as well quietly. So I think there's lots of geopolitical risk out there. I can't remember a time actually when I've seen so much geopolitical risk.
yeah. I there's some yeah. It's like there's a 10 pots
Yeah,
boiling and ready to boil over. Let
yeah.
alone, I mean, do you think it's hard for me to believe that the exchange between Israel and Iran are a one-off
No,
and it's over.
it's
And
just it's like almost. I mean, no, I can't believe that either. I think that again, reading and not being a, a a political analyst, but looking at seeing what Israel's doing, it seems now to have almost cornered Hamas by going along. I think it's called the Philadelphia Corridor, which I'd love to know why it's called the Philadelphia Corridor. I'm probably pronouncing it wrongly, but they've sort of cut Hamas's ties into Egypt. So I think that you could see more volatility there, tragically,
yeah,
which will lead into the markets. And we've got OPEC this weekend as well, haven't we? I
yeah.
think.
So, I've talked to guys like Mark Chandler says every major recession was preceded by an oil shock. Okay, so maybe you're talking about the Houthis,
Yeah.
and they're disrupting shipping. What happens if, and everyone's just poo-poos me when I say this, it wouldn't take much to disrupt shipping around the Straits of Hormuz,
Oh
would
no,
it?
no, nothing whatsoever. And
There's your oil shock. I don't care if the economy is weak
yeah,
and people aren't driving their cars anymore
yeah.
completely. That would still be a supply shock that would you know rattle markets.
You've been listening to me talk to Blake. I've been going about this for ages because I remember when I first started trading in '73, and and that's 1973 before anyone says 1873. It's the
I
six,
knew what you meant, buddy.
the six
I had 1 year left of college, so and a year later I was a runner.
yeah,
So
so
we're from the same generation.
exactly.
Blake likes to make fun of us dinosaurs.
I know, bloody
But you
young.
know what? You know what I told Blake, and I know he's listening. He's catching up.
He is, and it shows.
He's catching up
Don't
to our age.
the young.
Anyway,
But I say to Blake for ages, this just reminds me so much of when I first started out. And
yeah,
we
the 70s.
in the '70s we had an Arab-Israeli war going
Yeah,
on. We had the
yeah,
first oil shock. We had a
yeah.
massive spike in inflation, and then everything eased off, and everything was looking fine and dandy. And then you had another one, and I've been saying for ages that the next move by the Fed will be a hike in interest rates. And everyone's been laughing at me. And I've been saying probably for 9 months when they're looking for 5 or 6 cuts this year, and now we're down to maybe one. I just can't believe that Iran and Israel will just leave it
No,
as it is and call it
there's
quits.
too much hatred between both of them, existentially. So
So
I'm just
so
looking for
sad.
your.
And then if you look at the Straits of Hormuz and you think, okay, well then just go the other way, then go around the Horn of Africa. Yeah, well you can do that. And if you read the press, then the Somali pirates, who are very, very well armed now and very well equipped, I presume, by Iran, are going out there and hijacking yachts, hijacking boats. So I think either way, there's a problem going on.
Yeah. So and I do believe we had a dollar bear market going on in the 70s
Yeah,
too. I mean,
yeah.
that wasn't too far after the Bretton Woods
No,
agreement.
exactly, exactly. And going back to the Fed cutting, I think that they go into their blackout period this weekend, which is always a pleasure. Not to hear a central banker for a week, but similar to what's happened in the UK, it's really hard for the Bank of England now to cut interest rates. With an election coming up. There's a lovely photograph of me swimming in the English Channel, looking really cold. Um,
I'd rather have you for a friend than an adversary, Dick. All right, that's all I could say. All right, yeah. So we have all this like Redux, 70 Redux, is it? And it could be on steroids this time, right? Because of
yeah, it could be, and I don't discount elections. We got an election over here,
yeah,
uh, and I can't see how the Bank of England can cut because it's just so political. If they cut in June before the election, it's political. If they cut just after the election, it's political. So they're really sort of boxed themselves in. And I know that the sense and sensibility of people who say, oh, well, the Fed's got to cut, the Fed's got to cut. I'm not convinced they actually have to, but let's see what non-farm is like this weekend. But yeah, you're not that far off your election
yeah.
now.
What do
And
you
I,
think? All right, you're overseas. What are people saying in the UK? Are they worried about another 4 years of Trump? Would they be worried about another 4 years with Biden? Do they even think that we're going to be able to have an election?
huh, it's really funny. Our election is on July the 4th, Independence Day, right?
Yeah,
Your
that is
election is
funny.
on November the 5th, which is to all English kids. We have a thing called Guy Fawkes Day when we set off fireworks and dress up
Oh,
to celebrate Guido Fawkes trying to blow up the Houses of Parliament in 16 something or other. And it just
uh,
amuses me that your election is on that day, on Guy Fawkes Day. And I'm half American. I'm very proud to be half American. My mother was American. And I sit over here and I look at the politics in America and I want to just put my head in my hands. It's just, it,
I
it
know.
just looks like a powder keg,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. People hate each other.
Yeah, don't they? Yeah, if Trump
I
loses, he's just going to say it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged. He's just going to be on repeat. Uh, if he wins, I don't know what's a good outcome. And I'm not talking about the markets. Funny enough, I think whoever wins, it will be good for equities. But I think politically, it just looks horrendous to me.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
after last night, I just watching it, and I can't believe what I'm watching. It's like I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's like the Twilight Zone is what I
Yeah,
use as a parallel to me.
exactly.
It's
Talking of
you know,
Twilight, I don't know if you remember when on the floor just before non-farm payroll used to come out, all the traders used to hum the Twilight Zone.
yeah, do. Yeah,
Used to love
yeah. So I mean, so that's what we're in. So, what are you doing to protect all of your wealth in this environment?
that. You're gonna hate me for saying this, as I'm a Johnny come lately. I really
Go
like
ahead. What?
unbelievably. Um, I think as a good hedge, and maybe that's been getting regressing, being Benjamin Button and getting younger as I get older. I do like Bitcoin.
Okay.
I've actually been very long in the dollar most of the year. I'm now flat. Uh, I don't particularly like the euro, but that might just be an inbred bias against Europe
Right.
being English. Awful thing to say.
Right. Okay.
um,
And
and
gold? Any metals that
I,
uh
I quite like gold. I wouldn't say
okay.
I really like gold. I quite like gold.
Okay. Silver's been outperforming. You stacking any of those?
Yeah, silver as well.
Okay.
Um, I think so. There's some really odd plays in commodities, and I'm not close
Yeah.
enough to really clever
Yeah.
enough to trade them. But I think I'd be if I had the time, I would just look at soft commodities. I think that there's some good volatility there. Funny
Yeah.
enough,
Sure. Yeah. Okay. And just want everyone who's still listening and people to see the recording. Dick has a business in foreign exchange where you can um, exchange cash. It's done in cash, right, Dick?
well,
Where you
not
can,
literal holding cash in bank transfers where we beat the banks on price, which is always a
okay.
pleasure to beat a bank on anything.
I love it. All right. So Dick's out there to help you defend yourself on FX transactions from the banksters.
Right,
So
the
you,
banksters
yeah,
of club.
yeah. So you get a hold of Dick on X at Dickie Matthews
Yeah,
if you're doing any of that stuff, and if it's big numbers, it's a lot of money.
yeah.
And Dick, I always enjoy having a conversation with someone from my generation. There seem to be fewer and fewer of us.
Oh, don't say that. I always enjoy talking to you, Dale.
What?
There's fewer and fewer of us, sadly. But I always enjoy talking to you, Dale, because you've got the same croaky old voice as I have. And I don't know
Uh,
if you got it, but it must have been something to do with shouting on the floors for years.
yeah. Get me out! Or how about from trading places?
Yeah,
Turn the machines back on.
just get me out. I don't care about the price. Get me out. I used to love those words.
All right, Dick. Well, I'll get a hold of you and we'll talk again in the summer. And good health to you, and hope all your trades are winners.
And the same to you. And remember, don't lose your ass on a Friday. You've worked all week to make that money. Don't give it all back today.
Yeah, don't lose it on a Friday. Plant it on a bar stool.
That's exactly. You have a good
All
weekend.
right. All right. Dick Matthews, everybody. And that's a wrap for me. The team and I have done our best to lay it on the court for you guys. I think there have been some decent calls, especially with yields, TLT. What's TLT doing yeah, look how TLT held right off the line. Showed that. Um,
What's the
uh,
Dixie?
Dixie also talked about that this trend line held here and was looking for a breakdown. We got that. And then Canada's bringing up the rear, but it's right at Blake's triangle. Looks like that's breaking down too.
Yeah. Hey
So,
ho.
yeah. So remember, everyone, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Have a great weekend. Take advantage of that sale. So the gold is in the communities, faces only the tip of the iceberg. Invest in yourself. Pay to be around good people like they are. They're not in there for free. Or pay the market. A or B. Your choice. See everyone Monday. Thanks again, Dick.
See you soon, Dale. Thanks now. Bye-bye. Bye.
All right.
Good now.
Cheers, mate.
Peace.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with Forex Analytix. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.